Hi everyone, and welcome back to Claire Cookie Crumb Fun. I'm Claire. Here at Cookie Crumb Fun, we talk about Trim Healthy Mama, big family life in our homeschool. I'm the mother of 7 children, 5 boys, then 2 girls at the end. My husband and I have been married for 21 years. He's the pastor of our church. We started that church over a year and a half ago when we moved from New York to California. So if you're interested in any of those things, please subscribe for more. Now, today in our video, what we're going to be doing is a homeschool video. I joined up with a whole bunch of other homeschool moms in participating in a collab that Tricia over at This Life of Ours has started. So if you're interested in watching all the other videos, go ahead and check out the playlist below and go ahead and support those homeschool moms. And I hope you can find some new channels to go ahead and subscribe to and enjoy and learn from. So this collab is all about first impressions. Each of us are going to talk about something new that we incorporated into our homeschool and our first impressions of it. So I love this because we started lots of new things in our homeschool this year. I switched out a few subjects and I switched around a few things. I switched around our schedule. I switched around curriculums, and it has been a really good year as far as the schooling goes. You know, we still have our days where things are rough, things are tough, things are not fun some days, things take a long time, things are done quickly, just like all other homeschools do. So, you know, that's not changed. But what I want to share with you is the one thing that we changed and added to our homeschool that is my most favoriteest thing that I love talking about right now. And I have it right here in front of me. And I have a bunch of little things that I want to show you have to do with it. All right. So one of the things that we did in our homeschool was switch from ACE social studies to the mystery of history. Oh my goodness, I love the mystery of history. I have it right here. I love this so much. You know, if mom's having a good time with school and mom's enjoying it and mom's loving teaching it, then you know it was probably a good thing to switch to. It was probably a good subject, a good change. And I feel that this is. I am just so, I can't talk enough about how much I love it. I really do. I'm really enjoying it. And even though it started off at the beginning, because as you can see, this is just volume 1, and volume 1 starts at the creation and goes to the resurrection of Christ. Even though we are only, 7 weeks into this, I think we're in the middle of week 7, I am just I'm learning things because she's given it to you as a history point of view, not as a Bible Sunday school lesson. You know, like you can talk about creation in your Sunday school class, and you talk about God and the creation, what he did, and the 7 things, you know, what happened on each day. But this is a more historical view on it, but with biblical facts and biblical beliefs, you know. It's not a worldly, non-godly look at history. And that is perfect for our family. If you know our family and you've watched my videos, you know that it's perfect for our family. So, we started this, and what I did, if you're unfamiliar with the mystery history, there are 4 volumes right now, and in the back it tells you what the different volumes are, but it comes in a book all bound, and I ripped it apart and put it in this giant binder. I took the side piece and the back and the front, and I put it all in here, and the whole book is in here. I just ripped out all the pages. Some people were freaking out when I showed them that I did this. I can't believe you did that. Like, yeah, I did that. But they also told me that the other books are beautiful and colored, so I probably won't do it to those. This first volume, it was real simple to do this. It came all perforated. You know, like most curriculums have that, you know, it came with the three holes in it to put it in the notebook. A lot of curriculums like our Spelling Power has that. I could put that, eventually I will. I just got to get the right size. So I'm just waiting on that. But anyway, we're talking about the mystery of history. And my first impression of this really was overwhelming. I was not sure that I could do this. 4 years ago when I bought this, I was like unsure. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But then I changed my mind. I said, there's no way I can do it. I didn't think that I was that type of homeschool mom that could stand up in front of her kids and teach them the subject. I needed something like ACE, which we use, to help teach it, and me be there as like the supervisor to make sure it's all going and all flowing right. But I found out with this mystery of history that, oh, I'm having so much fun doing it. So I'm going to just talk about it a little bit and show you a little bit of the projects that we've done. So hopefully I can tell you all about this without going into too much detail, because this isn't a curriculum spotlight video. It's what my first impressions are on something new that we've changed. Hopefully I can get this done without going into too much detail and too many rabbit trails as to what this curriculum is, because I just love it so much. I could probably talk about it for an hour in a video. But the Mystery of History is a Bible-based history curriculum. It starts at creation, goes all the way to present-day history. The lady is Linda Harbour. Yep, I'll make sure I said it right. And she has 4 volumes so far, and 1 volume would last a year. It has 3 days a week history class, and so we do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with nothing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I get all the kids around the table and we discuss the subject for the day. Like, let's see, let's go over what we went this last week. This last week, for the first lesson, for like very first day, what you do is you have a pretest. And the pretest is just a bunch of questions, true or false, or it could be multiple choice. And what I do is the answers are in the back of the book, so I put them on little post-it notes so that I have them with me so I don't have to keep looking back and forth. And I'll have each of my children, because I have 7 children, and we all sit around the table, even the 4-year-old, but she ends up losing interest after about 10 minutes or so of it. And then I'll ask the question, like Hammurabi, however you say this man's name. She's really good, though, at giving you the pronunciations for this. But then after a while, I know sometimes I don't say it correctly. Was king of what? You know, and it has the word bank at the bottom. So what I would do is I would write them all on our giant dry erase board, and the children can write down their answers, and then we'll just go over question 1 at a time. So that's what we do on Mondays, and then we go into the first lesson for that week. Like this was week 7, right? No, I went too far. This is week 6. All right, this is last week's. All right, we learned about Hammurabi, all right? And she has it all written out. So if you were doing this with just one student, the student could read it themselves. So that's real great. But what I do is I read it to the kids, and then it has activities on the back of something you could do for younger children, for the middle students, and for the older students. So Hammurabi was about laws. He has just about 300 laws that he created to keep, you know, law and order in his country, in his land. And so that was interesting. What we did was we went over some of our family rules. What's one of the suggestions? You know, it's a family is much like a small society. During a family meeting or mealtime, discuss what rules your family has, all right? You discover that your family rules are designed to do one or more of these things: to keep peace, to keep order, to protect valuable things, to keep people safe, to keep people healthy. You know, rules. We all have rules in our family. A lot of us have similar rules. A lot of us have rules that are different. But that's what we went over, and I explained to the children why do you have to brush your teeth before you go to bed? You know, why do you need to change your underwear every day? You know, these are little things, you know, to keep the family healthy. Why do I want you to vacuum? Why do I want you to do your chores? Why are we all working to keep the house clean? You know, that sort of thing. All right, and then she has it all in order too. So like the first thing all the way to the last thing. And she has dates, so like with the Hammurabi, you know, 1792 BC, and then it was the Israelites in slavery. So, and we kind of knew about the Israelites in slavery, you know, with Moses and the pharaohs and stuff. So it was just neat, because what she does is she gives it the historical view of it, still with Bible facts and Bible beliefs, which I'm just loving so much. Because it's really neat to find out that some things were going on at the same time as things were going on in the Bible. You don't put 2 and 2 together. And there are other things as we get deeper, you know, higher into the years, that it's really going to be exciting that this happened and this happened at the same time, but you don't put them on the same, you know, you don't put them together on the timeline, which is just going to become so fascinating. So, and then we learned about China in the very first dynasty, the Shang dynasty, and silkworms. You know, and so we learned about when we did Moses this last week, right? We did the plagues that the Lord had put on the Egyptians. And so we wrote down all the plagues, and we put them in order where we found them in the Bible and what it did. But another thing to do for like your older students, you can find out what God it went with, because it goes along. Let's see, I had to find it here. It has written here. I don't want to rip the paper. See, it has that written right there, where it's the plague, all right, the blood, the water, the Nile was turned into blood, and then the Egyptian god that it proved wrong, and then the warning it gave, and then the Pharaoh's response, okay? So we wrote down all of that. Now, for older students, you could do, you know, the god and all that stuff, but we didn't look up each of those things. We just wrote down each of the plagues, and it was really interesting to see what the kids remembered, too, from any past Bible school lesson, all right? Our week got it kind of mixed up, so we didn't do all our history this week, but we're going to just continue it next week. But at the beginning of each week, she has that pretest that I showed you, and at the end of each week, let me show you, it has a quiz that you could either grade, you know, keep for your records if you need it, and make copies of. Now, what I did with this one was I had each child take a turn to read the question, and then everybody else decided on an answer. They kind of like a group choice. So I enjoy doing that with them. But most of the time, I will make copies, and then because I have 3 older kids and 3 younger kids doing this, I will have them team up, an older and a younger, and we'll have them work together to finish the quiz, you know, that I'll make a copy of, so that, you know, they reinforces teamwork, you know, listening to others' opinions and things like that. So, but this has really been great. And then also at the end of each week, you can add to your timeline. She has a way of making a timeline. She suggests different ways. We haven't done that yet because I didn't want to feel overwhelmed with this. When you start something different like this, we were always doing ACE paces, so this was something completely different for us. So you have what she calls the Wall of Fame, all right? And then the 3 subjects that you learned on that week, you get she has pictures that you can copy, you know, people like this, and you write on it, like if it was creation, you can write on creation, and then you could write you know, the years that it happened. If it was Hammurabi or Moses or whatever it was, either the Shang Dynasty, you write on the person and then add it to your timeline. So I like that aspect of it, and we probably eventually will start doing that, you know. But right now, I want to not get overwhelmed. That's my goal. Is if I get overwhelmed, it might just never happen that we'll do history. And there's maps in the back of the book that are all reproducible as long as you use them for your homeschool. And, you know, they're numbered. She tells you which they are. You know, if you can see the different rivers and everything like that. You know, this is the Mediterranean. This is like, you know, Israel and Bible Land and everything. The Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, and the Jordan River. And then what the kids do a lot of times is to find out where it is so they can see, you know, like map work. You get your colored pencils and you trace the lines. Like when we did the Fertile Crescent and we did the Sumerians, we learned all about, you know, where Sumer was, where Babylonia was, and all that, you know, so it's really fun. And I'm just really enjoying, oh, I got this page out. I'm going to have to find, oh, it goes right here. Huh. I'm just really enjoying this. I really am. And we do it 3 days a week, and there's enough in here to last the whole year. And I love that there's activities for different age groups. I'm going to do another video more in depth on this, so if you're interested in the mystery of history, you can either search YouTube, because that's what I did. There are other families that use this mystery of history, and I looked at their videos to give me an idea of how to do things and how to make things. And people have notebooks. You can buy CDs that go along with this with the printables, and it has the audio version of the book, you know, the lessons, so you can listen to them. It's for multiple children, single children, couple children. If you only have 2 or 3 children using this, they can just pass around the book and read the lesson and do the test that way, right? But my impression of this is just, wow, I love it. I really do. I love this curriculum so much. And you don't have to rip it apart like I did. I wanted to rip it apart so I had it more accessible, because when I'm doing it, I feel more comfortable standing in front of the kids because I write everything on the dry erase board. If I'm reading a story about, you know, the Shang Dynasty, I like to write the years. If there's any important facts that I'm reading, like if something was interesting to me, then I will write it down on the board. And, you know, what I'm finding out right now is, and my kids, because I keep catching on it, they're catching up on it too, where the Ice Age lasted from this year to this year, and then we're still learning about stuff, and the Ice Age is still going on around in the world, you know, after the flood. So it's really cool to see how different things are happening at the same time. The other parts of the world are frozen, you know. It's like the Grand Canyon's being created, the Mississippi River's getting carved out, you know. It's just really, really, really awesome. I'm just loving this curriculum. So if you're interested in this, there's many walkthroughs, and I do not have a walkthrough of this. Many other channels do. I probably should do one because I love it so much. I really love it so much. So my first impression is like 2 thumbs up definitely, because I really love this curriculum, and I'm so thankful that I bought this and decided not to do it and then decided to do it. And these atlases that go with it, oh, historical atlas and this biblical atlas, I love this biblical atlas so much. The student Bible atlas, this is just fun just to look at, all right, just to see where things are. Like here's the Fertile Crescent, you know, and just it was so, you know, the way that the children of Israel, you know, when they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, it's so awesome. And then dividing up the land, you know, all the tribes of oh my word, the Israelites, okay, and the tribes of Levi, the tribes Issachar, you know, all of Jacob's sons, you know, Joseph's brothers. I'm like totally, my brain's going too fast right now. I can't get the words out. I am loving this. And this book, I just love to just look at and reference to the things that you know about the Bible. It's just really, really interesting. And seeing everything like, oh, that's where that took place. Oh, there's that city. You know, do you ever, you know, you learn stuff in the Bible and you're not exactly sure where exactly the city is, and this is showing me where some of the stuff is. So, you know, it's a more in-depth maps than the ones in the back of your Bible are. And sometimes I could just stare at that when, you know, preacher's preaching and you like flip through, like oh, that's totally distracting. Okay, so that is my impression of this curriculum. I just love it. I honestly just love it. So if you're interested in the mystery of history, go ahead and just do a YouTube search on it. And let's see, Bright Ideas Press is the one place that sells it. I don't know if you can get it used anywhere, if anybody would sell it. This is one of those curriculums that you can keep reusing and reusing through the years, all right? You use it one year, and then you wait a couple years because you do the other ones, and you can come back to it, because if you have a big family, the younger kids are older by then and see it and listen to it differently. Like my 7-year-old, she's going to learn things completely different when she's like 10 and 11. So if I go through it again then, it's going to be way better. For her, she's going to learn different stuff, all right? So that is my impression. That is my video for this collab. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I mentioned before, there is a playlist. Go out, check out This Life of Ours, Trisha and her channel, and all the other moms that are participating in this homeschool collab. Another thing about the Mystery of History is one of the reasons why I wanted to switch our curriculum from ACE Social Studies to this was because I wanted more togetherness in our homeschool. Each of my children were doing their paces, and they were doing their own thing in their own spot. And we were together, but we weren't actually doing anything together. And this curriculum has brought us together because we are all doing it together. We're sitting around the table, we're quizzing each other, we're asking each other questions, we're helping each other out answer the quiz questions, or find something on the map when it's time to map things, or when we do an activity, we can help each other find it on the internet. Look it up in a book, or the building of the Stonehenge that we did that one week. And what else is it? That when we built the pyramids, it was spectacular. So it's given us more togetherness, where we're actually doing things together rather than our own thing individually. You know what I mean? So that's one of the other things that I love best about this curriculum. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on my first impression of something new in our homeschool, and that was the Mystery of History. All right, so I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Be a blessing.